this is how you're gonna get your base to last. I did my skincare a few hours ago, so I'm not gonna need to go in and do it again, but I am gonna reapply my sunscreen. This one is the Isntree Hyaluronic Acid Watery Sun Gel. Has a really nice, lightweight, hydrating texture. Most sunscreens are pretty much like a moisturizer-like formula, so this also works as a nice base for your foundation. Whether you're doing your full skin prep or just reapplying sunscreen, let this sit for a few minutes before moving on to foundation. If you don't have time to wait, use a fan. Brushes, not sponges. For foundation, I'm going to use the Makeup Forever HD Skin Hydra Glow. This one is in the shade 2N22. You can apply it on the brush or just go straight on your skin. Always use a clean brush and start bouncing that brush into your skin. I feel like this is one of the keys to making your foundation last really long. Really spending time working the product into your skin. Don't just blend it and immediately go on to the next step. I actually spend a few minutes really working it in. Bounce the brush around, make sure it's all really settling in. I 100% prefer brushes to sponges. No matter how you clean them, you can never be 100% sure that they're fully clean inside. And because of that, I'm not a fan. I'm going on 3 minutes now of working this into my skin. I try not to take the foundation up too high under my eyes because that's where the concealer is gonna go, and I don't want an accumulation of product if I don't need it there. Bronzer slash contour, I'm gonna use the Rare Beauty bronzer stick in the shade Always Sunny. If you want your bronzer and blush to last a really long time, I feel like it's also key to make sure you're layering cream products with powder products, and that will give you extra longevity. I like to use the same brush for pretty much my whole complexion, bouncing this on the face and really working that bronzer in. By bouncing it around, you're making sure that you maintain the placement where you put down the bronzer. If you drag the brush around, you're gonna end up moving some of the product that's under there, so I prefer to just bounce it around. Always blend into the hairline. I don't know, it's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like seeing that like line where you can see where the bronzer ends, so I like to blend into the hairline and then a little bit down. See, it already gives a nice definition. I don't like contour shades on myself. Cool tone contours kind of look just muddy and ashy. I know they're supposed to be grayish, but I don't like how they look, so I don't use them. I don't like to call it contour because I really just see it as re-adding definition back to the face. When I put down my foundation, everything just looks flat and one-dimensional, so this just really helps to warm it up and redefine it. If you contour your nose, you can also do that. I just like to add a little bit here and right under the brow. Doing this part right here really helps tie in your complexion to your eyeshadow. This bronzer I'm using is pretty warm, and if I use warm eyeshadows, it's really gonna help to tie it all together. Now I'm gonna go in with a cream blush. This one is Jubilee by Danessa Myricks. I basically do my whole complexion in liquid cream products, and then I do the same thing on top with powder. Blush before concealer has become one of my favorite things to do because it really just helps it look super diffused and seamless. And I take the blush right under my eye there, bouncing the brush around, no dragging. For this, you can use a liquid blush, a cream blush, skip blush if you don't like blush. I sometimes take the original foundation brush and I'll stamp around the edges to make sure that it's not super harsh. For concealer, I'm using IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Dark Spots in the shade Medium Neutral 31. I really like this one because it's a super thin, lightweight formula. A little bit down here, here, here. Let the concealer sit. I like to give it at least a minute, 2 if possible. Again, if you're in a rush, use your fan. Using the Haus Labs concealer brush, I love the shape of this one. The texture, it's really soft. It fits right in this area so nicely. I like to blend out the edges of my concealer first. See how quickly that blended out? Letting your concealer sit just lets it thicken up a little bit. I feel like you get more coverage and it kind of blends out really nice. With everything I do, I'm bouncing the brush around. I don't drag it. I like to blend out the nose with my finger. I just tap it around. I'm gonna take a little bit of the Hourglass concealer for extra brightness. This is in the shade Sepia. Just right there, here, here. I'm gonna let that sit. Using the same concealer brush to blend out this brighter concealer. Instead of using a super bright concealer all over the under eye, I like to use a concealer that's closer to my natural shade on most of the under eye, and then using a brighter shade just on the inner corner. And then with the concealer that's left on the brush, I'll just lightly define the sides of the nose where that bronzer was. And then I'll check the rest of the face to make sure that there's nothing I need to just clean up lightly. Before you go in with setting powder under your under eyes, you really want to make sure that you smooth out any product that's gathering. If you go over that with powder, that's how it's going to set. My favorite powder for my under eyes is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder in the shade Peach Pie, especially if I'm using a warm tone blush like this one. This one just ties it all together so nicely. I'm going to use a powder puff, dip it in my powder, and always tap off the excess in my hand and work it into the puff. That's how it looks. And I'll press this in. If you have problems with your makeup gathering, either on your under eyes or your smile lines here, using a powder puff and really pressing the product in is going to help. It's likely not going to stop it completely, but it makes a difference. Look at the difference the powder makes. Again, if you want your foundation to last really long, any places that you usually have oiliness or shininess coming through, you want to make sure you press setting powder into that area. For me, it's around here, 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 and here. The rest of my face will get set with a pressed powder. This one is the Charlotte Tilbury one in the shade 2, and I use a big fluffy brush to do this. Every single brush I use gets bounced on the face. It doesn't get dragged around. I don't like soup it around, just bouncing. Taking Pat McGrath blush in the shade Divine Rose 3. Remember, everything that you put down with cream, you go on top of it with powder. For blush, I really recommend using a loose fluffy brush, something like this. This really helps your blush to look more diffused and not like stuck in one area, if that makes sense. You're not going to get harsh lines, and it just looks so much softer. You can still build up the pigment if you like a lot of blush, but the edges are going to look really nice. I don't recommend using a densely packed brush for blush. Sometimes that can end up depositing a little too much color on one spot, and you usually have a harder time blending it out because it deposited so much and it's so heavy. A brush like this, you just have more control. I like a lot of blush, so I add more. For bronzer, I'm going to use Haus Labs in medium level 6, again with a fluffy brush. Something else that's super important is making sure that all the brushes you use are clean. I personally clean my brushes every single time I use them. It's not only important for your makeup application, but it's super important for your skin also. Placing this bronzer everywhere I placed that original bronzer stick. A little bit down the side of the nose, not too much, and I take it up into the brow. Something super important when you're doing makeup with brushes also, don't hold it too far down. That's going to apply a lot more pressure. If you want the brush to do the work, hold it farther away and let your wrist do the work. Kind of just like back and forward motion from your wrist, if that makes sense. And then up into the brows. Forgot to mention, I personally don't use primers. Most primers are basically just moisturizers, unless you're using a smoothing primer, a pore filling primer. Even those I wouldn't necessarily recommend using every single day because they can be a little bit too thick for your skin. This is how my complexion is looking with cream products first and then powders on top. Just a quick eye look. Setting spray, this one is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. I love this one. Hold it far so you get a light mist and you don't blast yourself in the face. Once the setting spray is dry, I'll go over my main areas of concern with the powder puff. I'm not going to add any more powder. I'm just going to use what is left on there from before. For me, it's going to be here, here, forehead, and just lightly tapping that in. Makeup done. This is going to last me all day.